I was a vegan for my entire life until last year when I became entirely carnivore based, meat based. I eat only meat and animal products, whereas I used to only eat plant based products. It's made a huge difference in my life. For one, I feel a lot more calm, a lot more still, a lot more in charge of my life because the carnivore diet, they call it, is zero carb. Effectively, you're not getting carbs from anything because everything is just fat or protein. You're not getting those kind of jitters or that excitement that you get from eating carbs, and definitely not from eating sugar. So for my entire life, like I said, I was vegan and vegetarian. Heavy carb based diet, not very much fat, and nothing with protein outside of beans and nuts. I mean, that's not really the same kind of quality protein as red meat. So when I made the switch over to this diet, I immediately felt the difference. And mind you, it wasn't like I was vegetarian and vegan kind of just like on the side. I was hardcore vegan. So I never had animal products in my life. And the very first day I had an animal product, it was salmon. I'll never forget this. I played basketball for 3 hours straight, no pain. The recovery was instant because of the food I ate, specifically because of the omega-3s. So when it comes to red meat, the amino acids in the red meat is kind of what builds the blocks of your body. Protein is like the building block of your body, and fat is kind of like the energy that your body wants to use to do things. You can use carbs as energy as well. You can use sugar as energy, but they're kind of like a non-renewable resource. Like, you can always eat more carbs, you can always eat more sugar, but it'll take a toll on your body eventually, and definitely on your energy. So my energy is higher when I eat only meat, but it's more concentrated is how I would say it. Like, I'm more focused on what I'm trying to do. I have more of like a headstrong, me first, let me accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish first mentality, as opposed to carbs where you're kind of being pulled all over the place. I mean, people talk about this all the time with like sugar rushes and stuff. That's just not a feeling that is optimal for my lifestyle. I try to get things done. I try to do things. And eating high protein, high fat allows me to be in the driver's seat of what I'm doing in my life. So let's talk a little bit about the carnivore diet itself. Like, I'm not really sure who started it. I mean, this is just kind of something that humans could have always been able to do without access to fruit and vegetables and obviously grains and other carbs. Humans really only had access to the animals that they hunted. So it's practical in that sense. And it's very old in that sense. So our bodies are tested and able to do something like this. But this is something that feels real natural. Like, it feels really native to like how I want to live. And the people who like started talking about this on the internet have shared similar ideas, that a lot of their focus, their addictions, like sugar addiction especially, kind of faded to the side, and they started to focus on what their goals were. A lot of people start the diet for weight loss. A lot of people started to kind of like rejuvenate their cells, their gut health, and a lot of autoimmune conditions. I definitely suffered from gut issues for a while, especially when I was vegan, because of the things that I was eating. You know, like, fiber is good for you. Fiber from vegetables and stuff, like it helps regulate your system, helps like clean you out and stuff. But the stuff that's sprayed on these fruit and vegetable products, like pesticides and whatnot, I mean, we all kind of know about this. That's what organic versus non-organic is. And then the GMO stuff, like, there's just a lot going on with produce, especially in the United States. And I would say specifically in the United States, I don't know how much a carnivore diet would actually improve somebody's life who eats produce, like say in Italy or something like that, where the produce is pretty good. And the regulations are good. We don't have rules when it comes to food in the US. So the food that we eat here is pretty inflammatory. Like, it makes us react in a way that is not favorable. I know for me that anytime I eat something with sugar or carbs, I'm immediately getting a reaction, and the whole rest of my day is kind of thrown off by what I ate. And with me, it just doesn't happen that way. You kind of just process and digest the stuff that you ate, and it supplements what you're trying to do. I'm not exactly villainizing fruit and vegetables. Like I said, I was vegetarian. I know the benefits of fruit and vegetables, but at the same time, I do know what goes on these fruit and vegetables. Like, literally on the surface, you got the pesticides, you got the what is that thing called that you spray on like your grass to kill the weeds or whatever. Like, that's the kind of stuff that goes on your fruit, you know? And like, even if you're washing it, these products are just totally affected by this stuff. So I know that my gut definitely does not react very well to stuff like that. You can try out the carnivore diet as like an elimination diet type of thing, where because you're eating such a limited diet, everything that you don't react to is fine, and everything that you do react to, you know, that's something that you know to keep an eye out for. So I know for me, when I started doing this, when I would have something like tomatoes or peppers, like the nightshades, I react, and it doesn't feel good. I mean, it's not nothing crazy, but it's not the same kind of stillness and the same kind of control that I feel when eating animal products only. Another important part of this is to eat high fat. Like, you gotta eat fat as energy. Protein isn't energy, it is the building block. Whereas fat is kind of the thing that you want to start eating so that you can burn that instead of, you know, kind of being lethargic, sluggish all day. I will definitely say that the first few days or weeks of this might be challenging because of the shift from either carbs or sugars to protein, like high protein especially. And if you're eating something like 200 grams of protein a day, which I am, you're gonna feel like a little slow. And it's because you need something to kind of lubricate the stuff you're eating, and to give your body something to burn. So I recommend high fat. You kind of have to do it. But yo, I'm telling you, like, you'll feel good eating a diet like this. I must say that you do want to stress grass-fed, cage-free, like all that stuff you see. I, for the most part, don't eat chicken. So when I'm eating this like really focused diet, it's like grass-fed steak, grass-fed bison, venison, like all that stuff. But it's not like chicken or like lower quality meat. The fish I eat is wild caught. You got to make sure to stress that stuff. The butter is like, what is it, like non-pasteurized or whatever. That stuff's important, so look that up. But I definitely stress that because I can feel the difference. And, you know, when I was vegan, it was not terrible, but I didn't really know anything else. So switching over to this is kind of like totally removing the blindfold from my eyes, you know? I experienced a lot of brain fog and just like being slow and not like as responsive as I am now. But the way I feel now is like, I mean, I feel like a man, to be honest with you. Like, that's what it really boils down to, is this awakens some kind of like testosterone-based masculinity, this primal thing. Like, I don't know, it's something very real and tangible. Like, I'm telling you, I've had 25 years of experience eating one way that I thought was fine, and now in a year of eating the total opposite, I feel totally opposite, and it is definitely for the better.